Aloha, Big Island. I'm Wago. Today's your update, January 27th. It's going to be a quick update because honestly, I spent a lot of time doing some other things which I'll recap below. That includes phone banking for the first time yesterday, and then today I did math persuasion banking, which means I was calling people that are in Iowa that already know about Yang and persuading them to go caucus February 3rd. We'll get to that down below. Anywho, starting right up, Yang Daily 10. Yang Daily 10 today was basically asking you to go out and participate. Samantha B has a television show called Fully Frontal. She's an amazing journalist, and what she's talking about, she's covering things that nobody else will, like the Harvey Weinstein debacle, all these criminals that are in our justice system, and how to effectively go through the election process without going crazy. There's an app called Fully Frontal. If you go and download the free app and play along, you'll be influenced about different campaign policies of everybody in the Democratic field, from Warren, Bernie, Buttigieg, Klobuchar, Sanders, of course, Yang. You could also pick Steyer, Bloomberg, and anybody else. Long story short, whomever you pick gets a lot of points. Those points are reflected, and then a donation is going to be made from all the people who did go through and all the advertisements that went on. So long story short, using the system to have fun interaction games. Go download at the App Store, Fully Frontal, totally unrigged primary, and you will have a great time playing it, answer the questions. It gets you informed, actually. A lot of things on the questions, multiple choice, you wouldn't know. Doesn't matter if you get it right or wrong, just choose Andrew Yang and put him up on the top of the leaderboard. That's today's Yang Daily 10. Yesterday's Yang Daily 10, I really wasn't quite sure of, but it was actually to Yang a cup. When I wake up to do these, I generally wake up at 5 in the morning and it wasn't up yet, and it didn't really get up till halfway through the day. So I hope everything's all right with the people who are doing the Yang Daily 10. Mahalo from the Big Island for doing those. It's part of my daily up and do it. Anywho, moving on. We had our meeting January 26th. Only one person showed up, but thank you. She was from the other islands, and she was from Kauai, and her YangGang chapter is slow but moving. And then after the February primaries, we were talking about how the wave is just going to make everybody jump for joy. We're going to be swimming in elation. It's going to be great. So, as always, this whole channel is to get you informed about Yang everything. If it's on Twitter, Reddit, if it's on the news periodicals, if it's word of mouth, we generally validate it, but we use sources like Mindful Skeptics with Boyce, Kyle Watson and his podcast, Gang Related. Steve and Padgett are doing stuff together now, but we've been following Padgett for quite a while. If you check out the videos by these people and individuals that have been doing it for months and months and months, you will realize the pattern. Everybody's so influenced by Andrew Yang and understands the policies that now is the time that is crucial to phone bank. There are only 7 more days left, people, until we see the voting process. And then right after that, California gets to do mail-in ballots, which means we're gonna see both coasts, the electoral states and California, and see what's going on. And quite possibly the DNC agenda and the biased media won't have anything to do with the campaign anymore, which means YangGang is finally out in the open. You could talk freely about this to anybody, Republicans, ups, downs, left, rights, big, tall, skinnies, fats, everything. Even Sleepy Joe supporters. Sorry about that, code of conduct. Anywho, moving on. I'd want to give a big shout out, although I didn't really include a video today, from Dominic and Bernice. I want to talk to these ladies. I want to have a shout out to them right now, and hopefully they'll get in touch with moi, Wago from the Big Island. You can reach me at yanggangbigisland@gmail.com. Also, anybody watching this, if you have questions about policies, I will try and get an answer for you if you did not get it from yang2020.com. At yang2020.com, you can get informed with policies, find out where events are, you could buy merch, and then you could represent Andrew Yang. Every penny goes to the campaign. If you check out the campaign donations right now, we are setting a goal for January 31st to raise $3 million, and that's right, grassroots. That means those of you who live paycheck to paycheck, those of you in the bottom 80%, not the top 20, I'm talking to you in the bottom 80%. 73% of you live paycheck to paycheck, as I do. That $1,000 a month, $33 a day, guaranteed by Andrew Yang, once bipartisanly we vote that in, will effectively change every demographic. When you take money out of the hands of criminals and you put that back in a system, it will instantly stimulate local economies like we've never seen before. Wait for it. If you got questions or comments, put them below, but you could go to the UBI tax calculator, put in your area code and find out how much from the amount of people who vote in that area would be generally put in your area. Where I am, there's about 581 registered voters. That means just short of $600,000 locally put in each month for the rest of our lives. Have an issue with the way things are happening? Change it. Worried about bureaucracy? Don't worry about them. Have an issue with somebody taking too much off the top? Get rid of them. Putting term limits on any position is a great idea. Once these people who are grandfathered in that have done this their whole life, 20, 30, 40 years, that are, even if they're doing a wonderful job, Warren, Sanders, even if they're doing a horrible job, Ted Cruz, Mitch McConnell, that's only my opinion. History will reflect that there will be something just like this. There was the new era, the New Deal, the revolutionary era, the Renaissance. We will be remembered from the 1900s to the 21st century as like the Reformation period. Well, that's already taken, isn't it? How about the advancement or it's just a reconstruction? No, that's already taken. We'll come up with a good one. Anywho, if you are interested to see how many days there are to Andrew Yang gets elected, you could go down to the description below and put the banner on your Facebook, your Twitter, whatever page. It's a countdown. You look at Andrew Yang's face and it tells you how many days till he is president. If I got it correct, I believe that there's 359 days till the inaugural process at 12 o'clock on January 20th. All right, moving on. If you want to become a precinct captain in Iowa, please hit the description below. There are only 7 more days. Voice for Mindful Skeptics just got filled in that he is a precinct captain, I believe in the 8th district. Anywho, he's going to be hanging out with the sorority girls down there, and then he's going to be going into full force. Watch this man multitask, watch this man do everything he can to push democracy. That's what we're shooting for. And once again, the purpose of this channel is to get Big Island influenced and informed. Even if you're not going to vote for Andrew, vote for a Democrat. Get out there, use democracy, learn everything you can, ask questions. If you have questions, put them below or send them to yanggangbigisland@gmail.com. All right, that shout out to Dominic and Paris. Love you ladies, hope to talk to you. Hit me up. Now moving on, Mindful Skeptic. Voice checks about being the Iowa captain precinct. We still need delegates in Indiana as well. So just as it was important to get people to be precinct captains to go out to Iowa, it's extremely important to hit those 3 districts inside of Indiana. There is not one Democrat currently on the ballot, meaning if we can get in there and get more Yang Gang feet in there and walk around and canvass like we're doing in Iowa for Yang Month, knock, knockity, knock, knock, knock. How you doing? Do you know who Andrew Yang is? No, I'm voting for Trump. Great. Do you know that he also supports yada, yada, yada? Wah, 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 wah. These conversations need to be met because nobody would agree with putting children in cages. Nobody would agree with not addressing the idea GDP does not gratify this idea of wellness when we have to suffer daily. It's 2020. Redistribution of funds that are currently being taken out by criminals and people that do not pay taxes will be put back into the system, and we will all benefit collectively, starting at ground zero, because the people who do not have a home, do not have food, do not have medical care, they need to be taken care of as well. It's not socialism, it's just human ethics and morals and values. Be a part of it. Anywho, that's what Pledge for Humanity is. If you go to yang2020.com, you too can volunteer to do pledge work. Work at a soup kitchen, go pick up trash, go talk to the elderly for 20 minutes a day at a nursing home. Do something other than just rely on your own narcissistic being, because that inner monologue that drives you crazy can be hushed if you just go do something for other people. Getting out and voting is another thing, or getting people to vote. Get your iPhone, iPad, go stand somewhere and say, "Are you registered to vote?" and yell it from the mountaintops. Vote411.org, or you could go to www.vote.gov and fill out your information, get registered as a Democrat. If you are in Hawaii, make sure that you're registered and make sure that you're a Democrat. Somehow we can be registered but not be registered as a Democrat. Therefore, even if you do go to vote, your vote doesn't count because you weren't registered in both phylums. Please make sure that you're registered. All right, moving on. The Hill. I'm so happy to hear and see another interview with Crystal and Cigar. It's been quite a while, and I do believe it's because Andrew just hasn't been in the media spotlight, which is kind of what they cover, which is interesting because they're very non-biased. And when I was watching the Heat of the Hills stuff covering Andrew Yang, they had information that I had not heard before, and the reason why is because they did journalism. You know, people like MSNBC, those reporters, they had one job to do. Like find out if he is a billionaire before putting a script at the bottom, or that his name's Andrew and not John. You only had one job to do and you couldn't do it. Anywho, the media blackout is about to be over when the wave comes crashing down in February. Once it is, South Carolina, New Hampshire, Nevada, maybe some of the funds that were going to offices there will come to Hawaii here. We'll get a little more organized, and then we'll have the resources and utility once people are enjoying all this to get on the bandwagon. You don't have to sell the policies sell themselves. All you have to do is approach every situation with a very humanistic approach and ask people what's important to them. Because somehow when you talk to people about what's important to them, Andrew Yang's policies come out as a Venn diagram. You might not understand how getting rid of the penny or putting congressional seat limits on anybody we vote for is substantial, but when you give a 16-year-old woman the right to choose what she wants to do with her reproductive system, put career limits on people who've been there for decades and done nothing substantial other than cliff notes in the analogs of history. Unless you enjoy just cliff notes and you don't really care about substantial change, what we see in our history books should be done daily by millennials. Wait for it. The transformation period is what I think this should be called. There it is, found it. Transformation period. We are going through a transformation at becoming a type 1 civilization, which we are not even close to. We have hundreds of years before we assimilate out of race, creed, color, religion, monetary supplements, scarcity tactics. It all happens right now with choosing to vote Democratic and choosing to vote for a leader, a patriot, an American like Andrew Yang. Okay, at the Zach and Mac show, I put this in here because it shows support at 2357 at their Q&A, where it starts, jump on there, about foreign markets and the scare with the Chinese coronavirus. They are in a fight for democracy, and right now they have an extended holiday where the employers need to pay their people, which generally doesn't happen in China, to avoid health risks by people conversing together. 5 cases in America that have come back, not to scare anybody, but the CDC is trying to take care of it, but the 2 boards and organizations between the CDC and the Chinese government do not communicate because we do not know how to communicate in 2020 with foreign nations, whether it's taxes, tariffs, policies, enforcing environmental laws. The future is here. We need to upgrade and update our coding so we're able to deal with 21st century needs as they come. Andrew's all about that. At 27, he talks about the student loans and the rotational apprentice tracks. Meaning, if you're in Iowa and you want to go somewhere else to learn a task or a trade, why not go to California? Vice versa, if you're from California, why not go to Oregon or Louisiana or Nashville and learn what you want to learn any sort of trade that you have. The idea is it's a grassroots movement and the end result is everybody's going to be able to come on that bandwagon and understand that there's only a couple things you could do at this moment that are vital. Go phone bank, sign up right now and text. I'll be putting a little clip down here of a couple of the calls that I did, which turned out well, but it was basically trying to persuade people who already know about Andrew Yang and get them to go and caucus on February 3rd and actually be a part of their own democracy. I do have to say this before we go on to another video. The people that I've been talking to in Iowa are sick of people calling them and asking them political questions. They don't want to be a part of the electoral process just as much as we don't want to have the electoral states be the judging factor in how democracy works. There are 50 states. We should have 52 states with Washington and Puerto Rico. Long story short is, you have to be involved in democracy for it to work. If only 5% of the bottom 80% donate to a political campaign, and the media doesn't cover everyone fairly, and the organizations that do debates don't ask questions that are basically on the minds and hearts of every American, then we're losing in the fight for democracy. And if you don't understand that, tune into the channel. That's what we're about. Getting registered, fighting for democracy before it's too late. Because capitalism and democracy go hand in hand. When the dollar's worthless, democracy will go out the window. Google it. Anyway, moving on. Grassroots, Russell and Elena. Russell and Elena got Business Insider. Like a shout out from them. Did a whole article on from Trump train to YangGang.
Hi, still in there? My name's Wago. I'm a volunteer with Andrew Yang's presidential candidate. Calling all the way from Hawaii. You have a second to chit-chat? Well, I was wondering if you're going to go caucus for him on February 3rd, or if you're still undecided. Right on. on. I'm pretty well versed with his policies and a lot of others on the ticket, at least the Democrats. I've done a little bit of research on the Republican side. But is there anything I could do right now to help make that decision so we could have you show up and show your support? Right on. Well, tell you what, I apologize for bothering you. Honestly, I hope you keep Andrew in mind, at least if you're not going to caucus, at least when you vote. Andrew's got some wonderful policies. I'd love to chit chat about them, but if you don't want to do that tonight, that's totally awesome. Right on. Have a great night. Bye. I guess that's how it's done. If they don't want to talk, you can't make them talk. Hi, is Angela there? This is Wago. Oh, she's not. Okay. Well, tell you what, I'm just another one of those volunteers calling to see if she's going to go caucus for Andrew Yang on February 3rd. Are you going to caucus? Have you thought about it? Okay. Do you know, I know, right? I'm so sorry to bother you. Do you know who Andrew Yang is? Okay. He's running. He's going to be in the next debate. Can you watch for him on stage? And if you Google the name Andrew Yang and watch anything on there, it might change the way you feel about democracy and the dollar. He's a wonderful stand-up guy. He's an American patriot. He's an entrepreneur that started a program called, basically is job creation. And if you're looking for something that's different from the politician wavelength, his main three are to give everybody health insurance, M for A, the universal basic income. And he would also like to make politics a little bit more human by putting career limits on politicians. That in combination with democracy dollars would basically cut lobbyists and big money 8-1, meaning big oil and big guns don't really have that much of a persuasion on our politicians and lobbyists and Congress people. Right now, what Andrew's hoping is that we don't focus on the left or the right, that we don't worry about a bipartisan issue, we don't focus on the impeachment, we don't focus on job loss or the GDP of $21 trillion. Instead, we should focus on global climate crisis, the emerging markets that are going to happen in the future, and how automation and AI will take another 4 million jobs, which was the main reason why our current president got elected. So regardless of how you feel about this, there has to be something that's important to you. And if there is, can I chit chat with you about that? No, okay. Well, thank you for listening to me talk. And tell you what, if you have 5 minutes to Google Andrew Yang, it might enlighten your day and empower you the way it's empowering thousands of people daily. And I can leave you on this. I'm in Hawaii and I'm calling you at 4 o'clock, and I apologize for calling so late, but I really want everybody to feel as empowered as I do. Democracy. Anywho, thank you very much for your time, and mahalo. Aloha. Hi Gail, my name is Wago. I'm a volunteer with Andrew Yang calling from Hawaii. I'm calling to ask you tonight if you're still interested in going out and caucusing for him on February 3rd. Alrighty, well thank you for participating in democracy. Right on, have a great night. Aloha! Hi, how are you? My name's Wago. I was wondering if I may speak to Sarah. The same thing every time this year. It's for the elections. Do you have 5 minutes? We can see that you reached out about Andrew Yang. I was wondering if you were interested in caucusing for him. Are you still undecided? Wonderful. I was going to ask you if there's anything I could do and give you an example of what Andrew Yang would mean for me, but what would Andrew Yang mean for you and why? You're the first person that's actually talked to me tonight while I'm doing this, so I would just love to hear from somebody's perspective that has all the power in their hands to make a difference. I'm calling from Hawaii, by the way. Yeah, it's a bummer, but it's okay. It's worth it just to talk to you. Right. Yeah. Yeah. I'm a white dude. Right. Yeah, I feel like I'm 39, white and male, and I only have 1 year of college, and I spent 2 decades not doing the right thing. I've never been political, and now I am, and I relate to what you just said because Andrew Yang's relatable. I wish he was my boss or my best friend. Opportunity, and there's just not. And where I come from, there's only 581 registered voters, which means when Andrew's elected and we vote in the UBI bipartisanly, it'll be a little under $600,000 just in my local neighborhood. I can't imagine what it's going to do for Detroit or Flint, Michigan or Oakland. So that $33 a day that you're talking about, to me, I laughed at it like it was clickbait, but then I think, oh, where I live, I need to drive 45 minutes just to get to a major town to do anything. And that means I have to buy from Walmart or Target because I live on an island. Or Amazon, which is the beast of this whole thing. So the long story short is, once he's elected, I get to give guitar lessons half an hour, and then I have self-worth again. And his administration has given me hope that I didn't waste my life on endeavors that were foolish, like arts and music. Because I feel like I want to be a part of this society, and my whole life, I've never felt like I've been a part of anything like I do this. So I appreciate you. Yeah, like your vote is worth so much. Wonderful. Can we count on you to caucus for Andrew on February 3rd? Wonderful. And you're going to tell your friends and family and your neighbors? Okay. Is there any way, can I grab your email and check back with you, or can I just leave it at that and say thank you, mahalo very much from YangGang, Hawaii? And mahalo. And thank you so much for your time. All right. Yep, I hope it pushes me to love democracy. Mahalo. Yes. Bye. That was worth it. Over an hour and a half of doing this, 46 calls into it for one person who says, and then it wasn't hard. I just asked them what they like. They said, he reflects something. I said, he's a brother, boss, best friend, lover. He's the kind of guy that I want to see talk to us about everything. That was it. I think I'm going to be done after this one. There's a lot of calls. Anywho, I get it. I understand why it's persuasive now. You don't have to sell it. You just have to be persuasive enough. If you know your policy and you know how to talk to people, gauge the room. All right. One more letter, a couple more calls, and then we're going to call it.
Something to hope and dream and want. That's why I'm on here today, to inform the Big Island about how Andrew Yang's policies work, why they would work, and how to field questions. At the bottom of this and right now in this video, exactly like right here, I'm probably going to be putting something about the phone banking that I did the other day, and then a little bit about the getting people to commit to caucus by phone banking. It's a different portion of that, but the idea is people who already know about Yang, try and get them out on February 3rd. So here's a quick shout out, same thing. If you know anybody in an electoral state, call them right now. Stop what you're doing. Call them, try and get them at least in the mind frame to think about Andrew Yang and what he could do for their local neighborhood. If you check the description below, there'll be a couple different resources for you to go and find information on Yang. But I'd urge you to do the information, find the data on your own, and then Google anything on Andrew Yang. So let's say that you want to know about abortion. Go to the browser, put Google Andrew Yang up there, and when everything comes up, you can go to the website, yang2020.com, or just put Andrew Yang on abortion. It'll generally go to some sort of video, some sort of news article. You can look up anything and stimulate that yang fix, but I can tell you what, the best way to get a yang fix is to get on phone banking. Go and talk to people who are independents, go and talk to people who are Democrats, go and talk to people who are Republicans. They are in Iowa and they want you to talk to them. As much as they say stop calling, as much as they say nah, it will be shown when the wave comes crashing down, the Andrew Yang, the YangGang, and the political process in which we need and are thriving and craving for right now is one step, and it is within arm's length right now. So once again, the purpose of this channel is to get Hawaiian Big Island voters registered. You could go to vote411.org, or you could go to www.gov.net or .org. Either one will get you signed up to vote. And if you sign up, make sure you sign up to vote and you sign up as a Democrat. Make sure that you're qualified in both, because you can be signed up to vote, go to vote, and your vote won't count because you're not as a Democrat. What's up with that? Anywho, if you like what we're doing here, please like, subscribe, and share. The only way to get this out there and get attention is to tell and talk to the people. Get informed with policies, find events at yang2020.com, and as always, aloha, Big Island.